Why be impeccable with the spoken word, Ray?
The words I'm using are setting me up for my future success or failure. If I'm saying I'm going to be broke, if I'm saying I'm going to be poor and not get good calls and not be successful, that's probably what I'm going to get.
Try. I'm going to try to hit my goal this month. I'm going to try to get here at 7 o'clock. Why is try so powerless?
Try to me is just a word that it diminishes my personal belief that it's a goal I'm really going to achieve, because I know darn well I'm not going to try. I'm going to do it.
Speak what I want.
What do you want? So it's just so much easier to say what you want. I want our vehicles to be clean versus I don't want to have dirty trucks.
What I want is the truth. All progress begins when you tell the truth. The more clear I can be about what I want in life, the faster I will get there. Hello, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Wisdom of Wrench podcast. I am your host, Kevin Comerford. And I am joined in studio by someone that has been on previous podcasts, someone that I've worked with for over 30 years. You could say he was the glue that held my company together. You could say that he was my right-hand man. You can say that he is my brother from another mother. What I do know is I love this guy. He has been so much. He's been, besides my wife, it's been the second most powerful relationship I've ever had, ever. And I'm happy that he's joining us today. Ray Diaz, nice to have you here today, buddy.
Thank you, Kevin. And don't start this up by making me cry. Okay?
I know.
Great being here with you. Excited about the topic today. Let's go.
It is. It's a doozy today. It's a big one. There's a lot to this one because it's a topic that's very near and dear to my heart. It is part 2 of a series that we're working on. The first part was Words Matter in our business lives, and we just passed out or went over luxury language. So the importance of words in our business life, which is really emphasized by a document we created called Luxury Language. We expect clients to make a luxury purchase from our companies here in Wrench. We must have language that is in line with the luxury purchase we expect them to make. So that's why it's titled Luxury Language. I'll let you go back to that podcast, which is part 1 of the Words Matter podcast. Again, part 2 today, we're talking about the importance of words, and words matter in our personal lives. And as you know, Ray, for both of us, everything we do in our personal lives carries over to our business life.
It is one.
Yeah, it really is.
Like it or not, it is one.
It is. So as much as I'm saying this is words matter in your personal life, you're going to find, and you're going to hear Ray and I say this over and over again, that this concept, this belief system is intertwined in our culture here at work. And it's up to us to A, speak this way, and B, to prevent others from speaking any way other than that. So let's get to it.
Let's go.
Yeah, we're talking about 3 things today. We're going to talk about the power of words and why be impeccable with your words. The wake it leaves, the fact that our words are a sword, a double-edged sword, the fact that it creates our reality, the words that we use. Number 2 is we're going to talk about specific weak words that show up in our everyday life and words that hold us back. Call this kind of the how-to part of our podcast today. And the third part is being clear that you speak what you want and eliminating this word that's called, this negation word that's called not out of your life, because it drives confusion. And all we want is clarity. So, why be impeccable with your words? Why be impeccable with the spoken word, Ray?
Well, for me, it creates clarity. I mean, so if I want clarity in my life, the words that I'm using are going to bring clarity to a statement. It's also going to share with people, do I love them? Do I care? It could be a negative word, which is negative. A positive word is positive. So if I'm speaking in positive ways and saying the things I do want versus things I don't want, I bring clarity in life. I want to make sure that people around me are clear with. You talked earlier about mixing your personal life and your work life. I said, well, mine is one and the same. The same values I have, the same way I want to speak and care for and love the people around me. I'm going to use the same words. I'm going to have the same caring. So if you want to get deep into the actual strength of a word, the function of a word, try. We go back to the try word again. What is that try word? And I was talking earlier about how try is simply removing the word try, because try is actually an obstacle to success, that I believe in my success, that I believe in the future, that I believe in my goals. I can set a goal and believe in it. Am I try to reach a goal, or am I going to reach the goal? Will I make the effort to reach something? So that one simple word, removing it from my vocabulary, changes my own expectation around people around me.
And that's what Ray's talking about is eliminating that word. It's this journey to be impeccable with our words. And we're going to get into some of those specific words here in just a second, which I love that you kind of gave us a preview on that. Words give us the power to create. And I'm going to go all the way back. I'm going all the way back in the in the gospel, that words were actually a gift from God. In the Gospel of John, speaking of creation of the universe, and I got this data from the Four Agreements, a book that I read, that in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word is God. So all the way back to when the universe, and speaking of the universe, the Word was put up there emphasizing its power to create, its power to think, because with our words, we manifest everything. And what I've learned is my intent is manifested through the word. What I dream of, what I feel, and who I am as a person is manifested through the spoken word that I use. I said it was heavy. I said it was heavy.
Well, think about you're right on track, and you say the word creates our destiny, creates who we are, what we're going to be, what we're going to do, and it reminds me always of when we read the book years ago, The Secret. The Secret was kind of the same thing, right? It was the law of attraction. So the words I'm using are setting me up for my future success or failure. Am I saying during the day that I'm going to be broke? I'm going to be unsuccessful in our business. Do I get the good calls? Do I get the bad calls? If I'm saying I'm going to be broke, if I'm saying I'm going to be poor and not get good calls and not be successful, that's probably what I'm going to get. What comes right back to me. And the old saying, what goes around comes around. Whatever I'm saying, what I'm doing, how I'm acting, the words I'm using is usually what's going to happen to me. We've said that for, if I'm pointing one way, there's three fingers pointing back at me, right? So it's that type of the way I communicate, not just to other people, but to myself. I'm communicating to me when I say those things, not just other people. I'm saying to myself, I'm going to be broke. I'm going to be broke.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
What other animal on Earth can speak?
Yeah.
None. They communicate, but nobody has words. No other animal has words to communicate, has words to move them towards their destiny. It's an unbelievable, like I said, going all the way back, it is a gift. It's a beautiful gift that we've been given. Like a sword, though, Ray, it's got two edges on it. Mm-hmm. Our words have two edges, where our words can create beautiful dreams, loving relationships with our wives, with our kids, with our significant others, with our team members. It also can destroy everything. It also can create wars. Words are what creates wars. That's how powerful words can be. It can destroy relationships, can destroy companies, can destroy people. On one edge of the sword, again, if it's misused, you can create a living hell for yourself. And the other edge, if you live this life of impeccability, of wanting to continuously get better at being impeccable with your words, you can create beauty, you can create love, and you can create the closest thing that we have to heaven on earth. I'll finish with this, Ray, and then I want to tell a story of how words impacted me at a young age. Words, depending on how you use your words, words are magic. But depending on how you use your words, it can be magic. Or if it's used on the other side of that sword, it can be black magic, where you can put spells on people. It's very, very dangerous. I want to give an example of when I was in third grade. And I've shared this on the podcast before, how one word can change someone's life. And this is why I think it's so critical that we understand that the words that we use leave wakes. They leave a wake, like behind a boat, Ray. Whatever words we use, it's leaving a wake. And if more people can understand that, that's the journey I'm on and want to accomplish through this podcast. So I'm in third grade. We're getting ready to pick kickball teams in third grade. Darn near 45 years ago, more than 45 years ago, and I'm telling the story. Okay? If you want to know how powerful words can be, over 45 years ago, the young man's name was Damon. We were all lined up on the side of the classroom, right? Now he had to decide who was going to be captain. Damon was a young man and said, hey, Kevin is a leader. He should be our captain. He should be one of the captains. Up to that point, Ray, in my whole life, I'd never been called a leader. But that stood out to me like, what? What? He just spoke that word. I have no idea. I've never told Damon this. I have no idea how to get a hold of Damon. But he told me this in third grade, that you are the leader, Kev. You are a leader. You should be captain. I saw myself, Ray, from that day forward as a leader. And those words spoken into me back then have manifested the entire time, where I have felt, okay, because he felt I was a leader, holy crap, I got to be a leader. I got to be, I am a leader.
Put pressure on you now.
It gives me confidence.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that, because I didn't even think about that. So you just spoke those words that's a very positive experience. So you were seeing yourself at a very young age. Somebody labeled you as leader. You probably had to learn what leader meant and go, okay, what is this leader thing? What's it about? I had a situation when I was in high school where a teacher actually told me I was going to amount to nothing. So those words hurt. And those words, I still tell that story. So also that I've had success, I want to go back and get that guy, of course, you know.
Yeah.
But being in high school and being told by an adult because of something very minor that I'm never going to amount to anything, you're talking about cutting. Those are the things that I'm 70 years old. I'm still remembering that from high school.
Yeah.
So that's how you can affect somebody long term. And I don't know how many situations we've been in over these 30 years where I've probably said something running through a room, and you've ever come to me and said, hey, you just said something. He thinks you meant something else, you know, or it's totally misunderstood or something. But my words cut into somebody in a way that wasn't my expectation,
right?
But clearly affected that young man in a way that it caused him to come to you. It thought I meant something else. It's another story where no words can matter. Not acknowledging somebody, not saying, where I had a regular routine of coming in and saying hello to everybody, and somebody wasn't at their desk, and so they weren't there, and I went on to my office, and an hour later, that person's worried that I'm upset at them because I didn't come to their office and say hello. So it's that word or lack of it, that lack of communication. You just never know. I guess you just have to always be aware of your actions and your words, and understanding that I may assume that everything's okay, but something I said, my word, affected somebody differently than I had intended to do. Yeah.
You said something really powerful, Ray, which is just be aware. Like, if we're on this journey, which I really hope we are, to be impeccable with our words, to be better.
I know you did not mean to say you hope.
Oh, thank you, Ray. Thank you for correcting me. See that? We're going to talk about this, about the importance of having people around you, because it's a journey towards impeccability. Am I perfect? Thank you, Ray. Thank you.
None of us are.
Thank you. Where was I going with that? That's the beauty of
you're
live,
hopeful about something
of live podcasting. Is this journey of I know. It's the words that, like, let's say you have somebody that is singing, right? First off, it's very courageous for a young person to get up in front of another group and sing and put themselves out there. Now, if someone were to say to that person, God, you're not a very good singer, what can that do to that person? It could prevent them from ever singing again. It can destroy their confidence. You're about ready to say something.
No, I'm saying no, exactly where you're going.
Yeah. And so the awareness that we all have, that I have, about what is coming out of my mouth is what is most important. That's what I wanted to make. The point I was wanting to make is that the awareness that I create my own destiny. As soon as I wake up in the morning, what are the words that are coming out of my mouth? As simple as, oh man, I don't want to get up. Or, hey, it's going to be a great day. I'm fired up.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm ready to make a difference today. Does that ever happen to you, Ray?
All the time. I mean, you got to, getting up in the morning, every morning, right? So that's that attitude thing. It's my word. It's not my word. That's actions. It's me making a decision to get up and mentally have the right words to say, let's go. Let's make it a great day. I have to make it's my job to make it a great day, But you bring up something very interesting that it's golf, me and golf, and an instructor I have that I take lessons from, and he related to this to me because he saw me hard on myself, my words on me. I'm a lousy golfer. I can't get this. I'm just not getting it right. Or I think I should be a scratch golfer. And he came to me one day and he says, Ray, first of all, you're never going to be a scratch golfer. If you shoot 90, you should be happy. So it's a joke. Ray says, when I get a bogey, it's a Portuguese par, And so but the big thing was, it's about outcome. You're too worried about outcome. Your words are too worried about outcome. You're upset. You're beating yourself up with words because you're so concerned about the outcome versus something you've talked about. It's almost like measuring backwards. It's okay. What can I say to myself? What words can I use to myself to say, well, what did I do right? Okay, so the outcome wasn't what I wanted, but my words are, I did this part well. My approach shot was well. My putt was well. I did this well to stay on the positive side of whatever the outcome was versus being too concerned about the outcome. And those are words too. Those are my own mental words to myself, talking to me to keep me on the right track.
So what comes first? Is it the thought that drives the words, or is it the words that drives the thought?
Well, so for me, emotionally, it's the words are the outcome of my thoughts. If I'm being negative, I'm responding to something negative in my head. If I'm using the right words, for me, if I'm looking at things and using the right words, looking into the future, then I'm affecting the future, then I'm affecting my own future by the words I'm using. Because I'm not going to try to do something. I'm going to have the will to get it done. I'm going to have the belief that I'm going to get it done just by not using the word try.
Yeah, I've always been a believer that I can have a negative thought that comes into my mind. If I speak it, I've just given it life. Like, I'm a believer that negative thoughts are going to come into my mind. They are. Do I give it life with my words? I wake up in the morning, I'm feeling a little groggy. Maybe I got a lack of sleep last night. I'm now at choice. I am now at choice. Am I going to say, okay, it's going to be a great day. Champions power through it, Kevin. Anybody can perform at a high level when they're feeling good. Champions perform when they are lacking a little bit of sleep, when they're feeling a little groggy. That's when champions perform. That's when elite athletes perform. So the choice that I made to redirect that negative thought through my words, to me, is why it's so important to be impeccable with these little buggers.
And you said earlier, it says, no matter what, we're going to make mistakes. Negative things are going to happen, right? They're going to happen. How do we avoid dragging them on with us into the future? How do we cut them loose and say, put it behind us to be able to have the right words and actions moving forward that delete out the negativity because things are going to happen. How do you let them go? How do you release them? And I think words do that. Words, I'm moving on. I'm going to get this done. I'm going to move forward versus dragging whatever that negative experience was with you.
Am I aware? Do I even realize how powerful my words are? And do I use my words to build people up? Do I use my words to encourage? Do I use words to lift others? I'll give you an example. I'm waking up. I woke up this morning. I was up a little early this morning. And it's about 4:45 in the morning, and my daughter comes downstairs. And she's going to train, because she's the trainer at the 5:30 CrossFit class. I'm at choice right there. And the choice is I'm always looking to be impeccable with my words. One side of the sword could have been, I could have said, oh, can't believe they're getting you up so early. How are they doing that to you, man? Getting you up early like that? Isn't anybody else taking that shift? Why do they put it on you, Emily? Okay, that's. Do you think that's real, Ray? Do you think people say that?
Well, absolutely.
That's you could create hell out of your life. And you can create hell out of your daughter that is up at 4:45. Or I could choose to say to her, honey, I am so proud of you. I am so proud of you. Look at what you're doing. Getting up at 4:45 so you can be teaching the class at 5:30. You're 22 years old. There's people that are 30, 40, 50, 60 years old in that class, and you're leading that class. That slight difference in the way that I use my words can transform who, Ray?
To you and your daughter, both. I mean, to the effect you're having on your daughter by putting her in a place even being negative versus positive.
Yeah. Encouraging her for the effort, instead of the outcome, like you said, like the effort to get up and do it, babe. I'm so proud of you. So proud of you. It's just, and just the awareness of me knowing that I hold in my hand a choice.
You're going back to paint your house brown. Don't we said talk about don't paint your house brown or red or whatever. And it's those same words, right? It's the same thing. It's how what are the words I'm using when I go home at night? What are the words I'm using about my work? Am I being positive or negative? Am I using positive or negative words about my work? And so what is that? What the feeling of my family? What feelings do they have about my employer now, the people I work with? Is it a positive or negative? That's a relationship, and vice versa. So what am I going home and talking about my family and my relationships there? So the people around me, how does that affect them? They have these visions of either positive relationships with your work versus home or negative.
Yes.
And then when the company party comes, what's the relationship between the spouse coming to work and meeting a supervisor?
Yes.
Is it positive or negative? They talk good about their boss or talk bad about their boss. So, yeah.
Yeah. The other night, Carolyn had this outfit on, and I was checking her out.
I do too, Kev. Sorry.
And she looked great. She looked great. What I realized after that interaction, I was taking that all in and keeping it to myself. So I went back the next day and I said to her, honey, do you realize I just want to make sure you know how good you looked in that outfit? And why was it that I was holding those words in on the first day rather than expressing them and telling her there? I have no idea. This journey to be impeccable with my words, though, was what spurred me to say, hey, go back to her the next day. Make sure you take that opportunity to tell her how beautiful she is, how beautiful she was in that new outfit that I know meant so much to her that she bought it. That, to me, Ray, is how we create heaven on earth, is through our words, those simple little gifts that we can give people every single day to pick them up. The opposite, once again, is insulting. The other edge of that sword is gossiping. And I'll just say it, the sarcasm.
The sarcasm.
The self-criticism. Again, I share all this for one reason. Awareness. And I love that you caught me a minute ago because I'm so far from perfect. I'm on a journey of impeccability.
Aren't we all?
I'm on this journey of impeccability. Why? Because what I've learned is the words create my reality. And if I misuse them, I can enslave myself and I can wound. But if I am impeccable, I can heal. It's freeing. It can be transformational. And you said it, Ray. Emily felt great this morning. Emily felt great when I told her those words. Who else felt great, Ray?
Oh, I'm sure you did.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. So the words have such transformational, they have a dual purpose. There's an old quote that I want to share to kind of close out this first part of why being impeccable with your words is so important. And it's this: the greatest exercise for the heart is to pick someone else up. So if you want to live longer, if you want to prevent yourself from having that heart attack, look to use that beautiful side of the sword rather than that nasty side, because that beautiful side is there for all of us to pick up and to use. And as I said at the very beginning, I'm a believer that it's a gift that God gave us as human beings, and he gave no other animals on this planet have that gift. Flippin' amazing to me. Flippin' amazing. Anything you want to close out on?
No, I think
part one.
I think the question's going to be to the audience and people listening to this conversation, the people around us. I mean, we have a culture of this conversation. We have a culture of these philosophies.
Yeah.
And I know that in the world that I live in, that when I'm not at work, when I'm at home and around
Good
friends.
correction, though.
Pardon me?
Good correction. You said when I'm not at work, and you correct yourself when I'm at home.
When I'm at home.
Yeah.
And with my friends, and we're hanging out, we're golfing and all. And I do sometimes unintentionally correct them in some of these words.
Yeah.
You know, it's a cultural thing. It's a huge move or understanding for my friends to understand what I'm doing. And I'm looking to, and I just do it automatically. So it's just who I am when I'm the try word, or I'm going to do this. I will do this. I will get it done, versus some of the comments I hear. How did people around you respond? I've seen where we've been called a cult and things like that. So how do you get people around you, and what kind of response do you get from your friends, people outside of our culture, when you speak like this?
That's a really great question. I think I come across as different.
Mm-hmm.
I think I come across to some people as weird.
Mm-hmm.
I can think of one particular individual who thinks I'm a freak,
mm-hmm.
who thinks I'm faking it all the time.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I could succumb to that criticism. I know I'm criticized.
Mm-hmm.
I know I'm looked at as a weirdo at times. And that's just, to me, that's just part of being successful. It's part of what I think is how you begin to separate yourself from the rest of the pack. Because I think a lot of people lack the awareness that words play in our lives. Mm-hmm. And if we choose them wisely and we understand that that creates our destiny. It's how we manifest things. It's how we think good thoughts. It's how we direct our lives. You're going to be different. You're different.
Mm-hmm.
And what I found is I have fewer and fewer friends
Yeah.
that have more meaningful relationships, though.
Mm-hmm.
I have fewer friends, but there are deeper relationships there. One last thing about words. We're talking about being impeccable. What's the opposite? I think being loose with your words. Just kind of going along and, realizing or thinking that you are your brain. No, that's incorrect. My brain is different than me. I use my brain to live my life in a way that is I can be proud of. My brain is a tool, and my brain helps me correct my words. My brain helps me navigate through life, where I think those of us that are loose with their words just think, hey, I'm just going to react to how life is. Well, no. Think a little bit, because to think is to create. Mm-hmm. And I get the opportunity every single day to create my own universe with the words and the thoughts that I have. One thing that I always have to be careful of, though, what I found is alcohol. Mm. Alcohol makes me very loose with my words. Mm. And so it's like, just be aware of that. Be careful of it. Limit, and just watch yourself. Because I could be loose with my words towards my friends, towards my family, towards my kids. And that's when I can throw barbs without even realizing it.
You just reminded me of something, react versus respond from years ago. And I remember the conversation it was like a doctor's pharmaceutical medicines. You know, if you respond to a doctor's medication, that's a good thing. If you have a reaction to it, it's a negative. And the same with us. If we react to things, we tend to use the wrong words because we're being emotional, reacting, and versus thinking about it for a moment, noodling it for a moment, and responding to something versus just reacting to it. And I think that's where a lot of negativity or just the brain getting in the way, versus the true thought to respond to something accurately or properly. Mm-hmm.
And I know when I'm having one of those days, when I got stinking thinking going on. Mm-hmm. One of the things my dad used to tell me is, Kevin, unless you can be really good with your words, with your team, go home. Mm-hmm. Go home. Mm-hmm. The team is better off with you just being gone. And it's interesting because I think that relates to being silent too. Mm-hmm. Like, just be quiet, Kevin.
What's the old saying? If you can't say something positive, don't say something at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do more listening. Mm-hmm. Do more listening than speaking. And if you're going to speak, that's fine. Just make sure your words are uplifting and positive. Okay. I love it. That's part one of the why. Why be impeccable with your words, and understanding the importance that we create a wake. Words are a sword. There's two edges to it. Mm-hmm. We create our own destiny.
Yep.
Second thing I want to talk about today are these powerless words. And we got a list of them.
We do.
And we're going to put a list up on the podcast. I'm going to get a list of these powerless words because these are the ones that we want to eliminate. Try. Ray, you've already mentioned try.
It's a big one.
I'm going to try to hit my goal this month. I'm going to try to get here at 7:00 this morning. Why is try, Ray, so powerless? And why are we so damn adamant to get rid of that word out of our language? We and I'm saying that around here in our culture, it is like taboo if you say try. Why is it?
It's a bomb, I tell you, around here. What's really funny is when you hear people who just recently been on board and they're correcting other people. I said, try? Did you really mean try? Was that the word you were looking to use? Try? And I think as we talked about this earlier as well, it's about belief. Try to me is just a word that being just in my vocabulary, it just diminishes. It diminishes my personal belief that this is real. That it's something that I'm really going to It's a goal I'm really going to achieve. It's an effort I'm really going to make because I know darn well I'm not going to try. I'm going to do it. That's who I am anyway. Just I'm going to do it. I laugh at friends when they tell me they tried to call me. They did call and they left me a voicemail. They said, I tried to call you. I says, no, I think you did. I think you did call me.
Yes.
Because I always said, that's a kind of a funny look. Visually, I'd say, I see you holding your phone and your finger just won't touch the phone.
Yes.
What is try?
Yes.
You trying to? No, you did call me. I didn't answer the phone. I failed to answer the phone. I wasn't available, whatever it was. And then that's when I get the looks. I get the rolling of the eyes and all that stuff. But, it doesn't mean something. That is a 3-letter word that has a lot of negative connotation to it.
It does.
Personally, it just does.
It does. Yep. It's funny. I was talking to Carolyn, my wife, about this episode, and we were talking about powerful words and powerless words. And she's had a lot of the same training that we've had through rapport leadership about making sure you speak with conviction and you speak what you want. And we're going to talk about that here in a second. Mm. One of the things she said was, and I wrote it down to share with everybody, is the fear of commitment. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The fear is what drives us to use weak words like hopefully. I'm hopefully going to take my car in this week. No, I'm going to take my car. I will do it. I hopefully will hit our budget this year. Hopefully. It's like, whoa. Well,
we learned years ago, what we commit to, what we write down, that those are things that get measured, right? When we write it down, when we set the goal, that's what gets measured. That's how we achieve things. I can remember I wanted a boat, and you did this. And it's a bit more a visual than a word, but it was still words that got this going. And I wanted a certain boat, and you did something. I remember what it was. You got me to do this. I took a picture of that boat and I put it on my mirror at home. Yeah. A year later, I had that boat. It was so weird that I just did that and I took that action. I guess it was internal that I was saying I was not going to try to get that boat. I put on I'm going to get that boat. I will get to the point where I have that boat. And a year or so later, I had that very boat. Wow. So, that's weird. I think it's just self-determination. I said, when you set the goal and you say you're going to do something, and I think try just relieves you of all that. So I just said I was going to try to do it. I didn't say I was really going to do it. I was going to try to do it, So it's almost like, you said it. It's that commitment. If you're really going to get it done, you're going to get it done. And guess what? You're going to miss sometimes.
Yes.
Sometimes you don't get it done.
Yes.
Okay. That does happen. That's more outcome based. Mm-hmm. Did I go out and have the will and the words and the actions to do everything I could?
Yes.
To achieve. That's all that really ever matters.
A couple other weak words. Should. I should go to the gym today. Mm-hmm. I should go to the gym today. We can should all over ourselves.
You're going to say that.
I mean, that's the reality. And basically, if you use that word should, that's what you're doing.
You might get there.
Yeah. You'll likely should all over yourself. I could. There's another weak word. These are all words to dispel from our vocabulary. Should, could.
Wish.
I got another one I want to share, and it's an interesting one. And to me, it's one that I've used with my children. It's this word but. And everybody's got a big butt.
Well, speak for yourself.
And when I say a big butt, I think of a circle with the word but, and it's B-U-T. One T, and then put a line through it. Everybody's got a big butt. And I believe that butts strip away your power. They strip away the positive of what you just shared. They negate. And let me give you an example. Brendan, I'm so proud of you. So proud of you that you cleaned your room. But is there any way that you can, but your bathroom looks like a mess. So, but I just expelled all that positive compliment that I wanted to give Brendan just by using that but. Hey, he's having a good year, but
What's the last thing he heard?
he only hears everything after the but.
Yes.
So what you do is you change your but to and. Hey, Brendan, I'd really love. Oh no, I'm so proud of you for cleaning your room. And if it's possible, you can have a look at your bathroom and do the same thing.
You're bringing up something I think we talked about in an earlier podcast, and it's my conversations with a teammate, right? So I have to. There are times you have to have these conversations that are crucial, and they have to be held. And it's how do I hold that? Do I start positive and tell somebody and give them encouraging words that the things they've done right, and we do have to talk about the end. We do have to talk about the things that have come up. There's areas of concern, and then always leaving somebody with dignity at the end. Yeah. I have trust in your ability to go out and do positive things, make things happen, correct this issue. They're all words, and it's how I deliver. I have to use words to deliver positive and constructive information.
Yeah, you just said that. Such a powerful words. I remember one of the things that you and I have both been faced with in our careers is having to terminate people. One of the most difficult things to share. Never gets easy. Never. And if it ever gets easy for anybody, that's a challenge.
That's a challenge.
Always up the night before. You never know how those interactions are going to go. It's heart-wrenching because you're affecting someone's life. Yep. Now, what I've realized is I'm affecting that person's life in a positive way because there's a better place for them than where they're currently working here at our business. And, maybe this is what they need to light a fire under them to change some of their habits, some of their behaviors. Because some people really need to get hit in the side of the head is what I also know. And being terminated is probably one of the biggest, hits to the side of the head. And, people respond and they recover from it. And a lot of people are better off because of it. You said something really powerful, though. And it was something I was taught from a mentor of mine, Joe Cristiano. When you're letting a person go, you always leave them with dignity. You always make sure that they know that you tell them that, you're a good person, and you attack the behavior that you did. Running through a red light and crashing into a car, whatever the behavior was, you attack the behavior instead of going at the person. Make sure the person knows, I just want you to know you're a really good person and there's a better place for you, I'm sure. It's the same thing with my kids when they commit or when they do something, I attack the behavior instead of attacking them. With my words, go after the behavior, like what they did wrong, the mistake they made, because it is so easy to strip my children of their confidence with my words if I go after and attack them instead of the behavior.
And always having faith that it was always a learning experience, that there was some growth, something positive even came out of all that, all the negativity of a termination or any experience like that at all, that there was still learning going on. There's something, somebody grew, something positive happened, that person's moving on. This was a stepping stone. They're moving on to something bigger and greater for themselves. This didn't fit, but something else will. There's something out there for them.
You just used a really cool word,
Which one?
You just used a really cool word. You said, I have faith that in all of that, there was a learning lesson versus saying, I hope there was a learning lesson. No, change your hope to faith. I have faith that when I had to go forward with that termination, this person is going to be better off on the other end. That sounds so much better than, I hope that this termination makes this person better.
A lot of personal stuff there too, Kev, for me, because I've always had a faith in myself that moving forward in my own life and looking back at my past, that I've always, just by having faith moving forward and the willingness to grow and do something new or something different, that it's always worked out. Somehow, having faith, it works out. Being open to, for me, has always worked. So, anytime I'm feeling frustrated, anytime I'm having a tough day, I remember the past. I look back there, and my brain is telling me, okay, things are looking good. Use great words, move forward. I will get this done. I will get to the next step. I will get this accomplished. It may take longer than I thought it would, but I'll get there.
Couple other comments before we close out part 2 of this. In 1995, I've told this story before. I almost had a nervous breakdown, and it was because of my words. I went and saw a counselor, John Tompkins, who I'm going to put his book. I'm going to put his book in the notes of the podcast. John Tompkins wrote a really cool book about red language versus green language. What I realized was I was using a lot of red language. I would come home. As soon as I would come home, I would be like, I'm tired. How are things, Kevin? I'm busy. How was work today, Kevin? It was a disaster. God, it was a disaster. It was terrible. It was this, it was that. I'm tired. I'm busy. It was a disaster. I had no idea. I was just so unaware that I was creating this spiral for myself, which almost created me to have a nervous breakdown. It was all the words that I was using. And John tweaked them and shared with me how I could be changing all those words. Because if I say I'm busy, right?
Could be busy.
Yeah.
Say you're broke.
If you say I'm broke, or I don't want to be poor, and we're going to get into don'ts here in a second. I don't want to be poor. If that's what your mind is saying, again, I'm doing a little preview to the third section of this podcast. I'm busy. I'm tired. Things are a disaster. Well, Kevin, what happened at 9/11 was a disaster. What happened at work today? No.
Yeah.
No. Really? Was it really a disaster? No. A good friend of mine, every time I have an interaction with him, I love this guy. He always tells me he's busy. And guess what he always is, Ray?
Busy.
He's always running around.
Right.
He's always running around. Good buddy of mine. And I've shared with him that. And he's one of those guys that probably thinks I'm a weirdo. And I'm a freak. I keep sharing, though. Keep sharing the good word. So this whole thing about speaking with power, speaking powerful words, getting rid of these weak words, and doing it by managing the story that we tell ourselves in our mind. Manage that story. And again, I have to say, silence is a beautiful thing. Get comfortable with the uncomfortable. And a lot of people are very uncomfortable with silence. It's okay. If you need to think a little bit more about what are the words that are going to come out of your mouth before you say it, great. Great. I'm ready to move on to part 3.
Let's go.
Speak what I want versus speaking what I don't want. Before the podcast, we talked about, and you said to me, Kevin, I want you to talk about the science. Okay? So here I go.
Mr. Scientist Kevin Comerford.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Speak what I want instead of what I don't want. We all have what's called a reticular activating system, which is a network of neurons located inside of our brainstem. Now, the RAS, R-A-S, its primary purpose is to filter out things and only send things, sensory things, and sensory info that's important to our conscious. And there is so much that we're taking in subconsciously versus consciously. This RAS is constantly filtering stuff out for us that we all have and sending into us data that needs to reach our conscious. Let me give you an example. If you're shopping for a white Jeep, Ray, what do you think you're all of a sudden going to start seeing on the highway?
Hell of a lot. White Jeeps.
White Jeeps. It's just natural. That is a perfect example of this RAS doing its work. The same thing is true when you speak and you speak in not language. What do you mean by not language? I'll give you an example. Don't think of a pink elephant, Ray. Okay, don't think of a pink elephant.
I won't think of a pink elephant.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that goes into my reticulating, or my RAS. Okay. My RAS is unable to process and filter a knot. So what does it send? What does it put up? It puts up the pink elephant. We said it a minute ago. I don't want to be poor. What gets sent to your conscious is poor. What do you want? I want to be responsible, and I want to make sure I look at my finances every week. I don't want to be poor. RAS is at work. What's it sending? Poor. Poor. I don't want to be overweight. Filters through the RAS. Not language is very, very powerful. And I'm a firm believer that it creates a ton of confusion and it leaves things for interpretation when you're talking to your people.
Totally.
People have to interpret because they're still a little unclear when you use not language. Let me give you an example. Let's say you've got Billy. He's upstairs in his room and he's doing homework. Okay? He's got his buddies down on a field and they're all playing football. They yell up to Johnny and they say, "Hey, Johnny, come on down and play with us." Johnny looks down and says, "No, guys, I don't want to come down and play. I don't want to come down and play." Now, the other people and the people on the field can be like, "Oh, did we do something to upset Johnny? Is he mad at us?" Not language leaves things for interpretation. Where if Johnny would have just said, Hey guys, I'm going to stay up in my room and do my homework," they would have been like, "Oh, okay. They know exactly what he's doing. There's no interpretation. There's no confusion, and they move on with their life.
Mm-hmm.
They move on. They keep playing football. There's nothing there. It speeds up trust. It speeds up relationships when you speak what you want.
It's a lot there.
It also keeps your tables clean.
Yes.
You know what I mean when I say that?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Here's a typical one. Johnny, or let's say it's Barbara, this, or Jenny, or what's it? Morgan. Okay, let me use a modern name. Morgan.
Morgan.
Don't spill the milk.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What registered with Morgan?
Spill the milk. Yep.
Don't spill the milk. Don't put your shoes there. Don't put your shoe. Why is it that they continuously spill the milk and they continuously leave their shoes out, or they leave dishes in the sink? Speak what you want. Morgan, please put your cup at the top of your plate. Don't spill your milk. Leaves everything for, I have to interpret, I have to now process what that means, because it's a negative. Don't spill your milk. But we as a society have gotten so used to not language. Mm-hmm. Don't spill your milk, Morgan. Mm-hmm. Instead of, Morgan, honey, could you please put your milk at the top of your plate? And she's like, yeah, for sure. For sure. The power of words, Ray, mm-hmm. The wake that we leave.
Mm-hmm. You remind me of Tom Hopkins when I met him years ago, him talking about the red lenses and how
language. And I meant the red language.
Red language.
Yeah.
And look through the red lenses.
Oh, yes, through the red.
Yes. And he would talk about what you did. I saw you shaking your finger, like, don't spill the milk.
Yeah.
And he would say, it's like with your employees. It's like when you're acting like that, when you're shaking your finger or you're using the not language and talking to them in that tone, that it's like all they see is when they were young, maybe their parents talked to them like that. And so now they see you that way. They're looking at you as, oh, I remember my dad yelling at me like that, shaking his finger and having those words with me. And that's how I see Ray now, because Ray talks that way. So now Ray's like my dad. No, and also I'm a negative figure
in their life
because of a memory of the father.
Yeah, which you have no control over.
No,
I mean, that goes so
but
deep.
That's what he sees. So he's reflecting that same relationship that he had from his past somewhere.
All because of the not language.
Yeah. My favorite, though, is always a loved one, a family member or somebody I love, and it's time to go to dinner. And it's, where you want to go to dinner? It's just, well, I don't want to go there. I don't want Chinese. I don't want Italian. Okay, honey, what do you want?
They'll go through all the lists, right?
Yeah.
I don't want this. I don't want that. I don't want this. And it's like, can you help me a little bit?
Well, that's the trap now. See, that's the trap. You decide, well, I want to go have burgers. I don't want that. So it's a funny thing. It's not, it's loved ones, it's friends. It's okay. So what do you want? Let's be precise and concise and say, okay, what do you want? So it's just so much easier to say what you want. I mean, period. I mean, that's what I've learned. It's just easier to say, I want to go have Mexican food, or I want our vehicles to be clean and spiffy every Tuesday. This is how it has to look every Tuesday, versus I don't want to have dirty trucks. Well, what do you want to have, Ray? Dented trucks? Do you want to have scraped trucks? Do you want to have, hopped up trucks? What do you want? So it's so easy. It's just easier. It's actually easier to get rid of the not and just say what you want. It's also progressive. It progresses things forward, even if it doesn't end up what you wanted. Mm-hmm. There's some adjustment made or some discussion had. at least moves the conversation in a positive direction.
Yes.
When you just simply say, this is my expectation, this is what I want, this is what we're going to do going forward when I'm speaking in front of people or family, so.
It's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
It's truth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What I want is the truth and all progress begins when you tell the truth. So the more clear you can be about the more clear I can be about what I want in life, the faster I will get there. Mm-hmm. It, like you said, it speeds things up, and not language also slows things down.
I think I told you a story the other day. I tell it now. It's about where I live it's a golf community where I live. And there was a home being demolished around the corner. It had been there for a couple of years and with lawsuits and everything. And it's the funniest darn story. And it finally is coming down. There's a big tractor out there. They're getting to rip it down and all. And so I took my dog and my golf cart to the park, and I was driving by to see if it was coming down or not. And just as I'm getting there, I'm driving up, and there's like 10, 15 golf carts parked up and down the road with all these people watching this house get demolished, that they're all happy. It's like a party. It's like I have to have a party. And at the same time, there's a text coming over from the management company saying, do not go over to the house that's being demolished. Don't go over that area. There's construction. Well, everybody went over there. They saw this text and they all went over there. I was like, okay, don't go there. And here's all these adult people. They went there. Wow. It was just funny. It was funny about that. But I thought about you when that happened. I said, I actually said to somebody there, somebody said, oh, they're putting a text out not to go over here. And I said, yeah, don't spill the milk, Right. And what happens,
Yes.
And so it's just real life. I mean, it's how people, be clear. Be clear about, don't go over there. Have a reason, so.
To close out this third section, I think there's a weak word. I think what I want is for people to be more aware of when they hear it. Mm-hmm. People will be amazed at the leaders and how not language is so prolific amongst the leaders, in our politicians. Mm-hmm. It's unbelievable. It's like, you want confusion? Go listen to a politician speak. There's so much not language. And all I'm saying is be different. Mm-hmm. Work on being different. Work on speaking what you want. Work on being clear with what you want. And then when you do that, success will come. You can get there a lot faster.
When we first started down the not road, I remember going back and reading memos and instructions and processes I had written over the years. And there were so many nots and don'ts in there. It was crazy. So that's one thing I would tell the audience. Go back and look at things you've read, and then go back and change them. Take those words out and look how much it changes what you just asked your team to do or not do, and by getting rid of the knots and just saying, hey, this is what we're going to do. This is to clarify moving forward what we are going to do.
Yeah.
And it just makes it so much better.
Yeah,
so,
that's great. Yeah. Again, red language, green language, there's going to be notes in the podcast section or the note section of the podcast. John Tompkins' book, It's Not Crazy Yet? ? Then start talking to yourself differently. Not crazy yet. So thank you, John. Special shout out to John, who had a huge, huge impact in my life. So Ray, I think we're ready to recap. I think, this episode, we talked about three things. We talked about the power of words early on and why being impeccable with your words is so important, and understanding the wake that we leave with our words. Just people having more of an understanding the wake that they leave when they leave every room, every situation, and you can have a tremendous impact on people like Damon did when I was in third grade. Mm-hmm. He changed my life. Mm-hmm. And also the fact that there's two sides to this gift that we've been given. This gift of words is like a two-edged sword. And just understanding and recognizing that, boy, they can create beauty on that one side of the edge, but that they can cut so deep on the other. And the final thing with impeccability is just understanding that it creates your own reality. We went on and talked about weak words and powerful words and powerless words, try and hope and should, and really how that exemplifies a lack of commitment or a fear of commitment, fear of committing. Just commit. Just do it. Just go. I hope I go to the gym. No, I'm going to the gym. I am going. I'm doing it. And how to speak and be more powerful in your everyday life by getting rid of those weak words and exchanging them for power words, powerful words. And then the final thing we talked about, Ray, which is just so near and dear to my heart, which has really just helped me my whole life, is speaking what I want, eliminating confusion, being clear, because clarity creates energy for those of us or for those around us. The more clear we can be, the more energy others will have, the more energy I will have. And getting rid of knots because they create confusion and we have to interpret things. And when you speak what you want, it just takes the conversation to the next level. And as I said at the very beginning, we're on this journey of impeccability together. And the more people that you can have around you that can help coach you, like you did earlier to me when I said hope, that is a blessing. And again, this is a journey that that I'm always looking to make my future bigger than my past. Always, always, always. So Ray, thanks for joining me.
Love being here, Kevin.
It was a treat.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks for saying yes.
No, you're welcome.
Here's to a bigger future, team. Thanks very much.